Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today I'm going to cut all of the lumber for the critical tweener wall on the tiny house project. And here we have it right here. I haven't done any takeoffs or anything like that, but I roughly estimated that the framing will take 10 boards. So what I'm going to do is just get the best out of those boards and cut 10 of them to 2 inches. And then this is on the kitchen side, the addition side. And then on the barn side, things get a little more complicated. Right here, where it says header, there's a 2-piece header, and 1 piece is in there, and then there's wires going across over to this side. So I need to put the other side of that header in. So I got to cut that to fit exactly, and then I need to pocket screw it on both sides, and then up into the top plate here. I believe the other one's put in the exact same way. Then we have blocking here. The ladder going to the upstairs is going to go right in this area here, and it has 2 big metal brackets that are going to go in this area. So basically this entire area here, I need to map out exactly where the wires are and put that in writing so I can come back to it later. I don't want any of these lag bolts or anything going into wiring, so I got to be real careful up here. And the way them holes go through here and the wires go down, I'll probably have to notch the back side of this blocking right in this area as well. I was just looking at this. This is what I had planned for the thermostat box. The thermostat has to go exactly where it's shown here, but I think I can get that done by just screwing this board right here from the other side. There's actually a couple more boards here, but I can reach around and screw that in from the other side. I just got to get it in exactly the right place and screw it in. The reason for that is when I build that ladder, this thermostat will be in one of the openings for the ladder towards the bottom, so that somebody standing in front of it will be able to read it without any problem. I don't want it hidden behind a rung or anything. And then we have this down here. What this is I'm going to screw some kind of a magnet here and then have a matching magnet on one of the rungs of the ladder. This is exactly where one of the rungs of the ladder is going to meet the wall. And what that's going to do is just hold the ladder up to the wall when it's in the closed position. This is a pretty interesting design, this whole ladder here, but I'll be doing that on my other channel, Trapdoor Woodworks, and I'm also going to be doing a video out here. I got to get this place ready to put this plywood on the walls, so I'll be doing a new Trapdoor Woodworks video a little bit later today. But I want to get this stuff all cut, at least rough cut, so that when I clean up, I'm not making a mess right on top of it. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is going to have to be cut to fit, but I can get the majority of it cut and then get this place all cleaned up. And then we'll finish this video up probably in 2 days when I'm done with all this stuff. But for today, we'll get all this stuff rough cut. Okay, we got a problem here. When I picked up this lumber, this was by far the worst lumber I've ever seen at Menards. Well, basically anywhere. It's just garbage. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that, but it's cupped, twisted. It's got like every kind of defect that you can have in a board, in every board. So I think what I'm going to do is just return this stuff, get new lumber, and cut it out of that. So this video is going to take a little bit longer than I thought. Maybe I can get that done today, but I really need to get this place cleaned up and ready for other stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is continue this video when I get some fresh lumber or when I'm doing something else. I have these 2 boards. This is all I could find out of this, and well, these aren't that bad. That just has a cup to it. This has a twist to it. Almost every one of these is twisted like that. But what I'm using it for is just 2-inch studs. They'll be ripped down to 2-inch studs, and I can yank it straight, but I don't know. If I'm taking all that back, I might as well just take this stuff back. In reality, only one of these boards out of this whole batch is any good. I picked this stuff up when I first started work on the addition, and I got the best out of it out of that. I think I bought like, I don't know, maybe 50 boards, and I used 30 on the addition, and I used pretty bad boards on that because, like I said, this was a really, really bad batch. Yeah, I'm just going to take all this crap back. I'll get back with you when I have better lumber to work with, and at that time, this whole shop should be pretty darn clean. All right, since last time I talked with you, I cleaned this for, it was about 3 days. It's 4, maybe 5 days later, but I got all that stuff that was here cleaned up. I sorted through all the wood. The majority of that wood is out there waiting to go back, along with some other stuff. And out of that, I got what is here. A couple of these are 2x6s. So between all of this stuff is fairly good. I'll be able to get my 2-inch studs out of this. And I had figured 10 roughly, but it's not going to take that much. I need 7 full and 1.5 partial. So we got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1.5. So we got plenty of wood there. Plus, for the smaller stuff, I can cut up some of this other scrap. And I have wood on the other side, wood out there. I have wood all over the place. So between all of that, we have enough wood to do this. Also, during those days, I kind of fixed the heater. Not really. It vibrates way too much with the new motor. And I went and got some rubber washers. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see them, but I made a video on that if you want to see it. So it's the day before Christmas Eve. So I'm not going to be able to get a lot of this done. What I'm going to do right now is just get all of this stuff cut into 2-inch studs. Then I'm going to run over and clear off that wall, the tweener wall, and take my grinder and cut all of the metal and stuff that's sticking through the wall right in the area around the door, and I'll start framing right there. I got to come back and forth. It's either that or bring this up there, but it's misting out, and I really don't want to do that. I'll take the walk, come over here, make my cuts. Nothing has to be perfect because all this is for mounting drywall and for mounting the switch box and other stuff. It's not structural, so if there's gaps at the ends of stuff, really doesn't matter. And the only place that's really going to come in is on like this, where it has angled cuts. I don't have to make it real precise. Same with these two. The studs, well, and this as well, where it comes up to the top, I can be a 1/4 inch shy, and that'll be just fine. Then I have all of this stuff, and all of this can be cut from scrap that's laying around. And I do believe that this one is sitting over there. I'm going to have to look for that. I was using it as a shelf for the router, but I do believe it's still sitting over there. But enough of this. Let's get this stuff cut into studs, and then we'll head over there and start cutting all that metal with the grinder, get some dimensions, and come back and start cutting this stuff to size. This last board, this was a 2x6. You should be able to see that. It's got a massive bow in it. That was released when this was a 2x6. It was pretty darn straight, but it did have like a curve going this way. And when I cut it, it tried pinching like that because as you're cutting it, it's releasing stress and it's trying to close the kerf back up on the backside. And when it does that, it's cutting this way and it's cutting as the blade's coming up out of the table there. And that's what throws the wood all over the place like this. Contractor saws like this are messy to begin with because they have an open bottom and an open back. And there's not a real good way to hook up dust collection to these. I got to get a better saw, but just thought I'd show you how bad this wood was. And it gets this bad. This is probably case hardened wood where they dried it much too quick. It's kiln dried and they rushed the process and case hardened it. And what that is it dries on the outside really quick because they have way too high of a temperature or something. And then the inside can't dry because the outside gets dry and hard and will not let the moisture through. So it builds up a lot of stress in the board. It can be from the way the wood was grown. Who knows? Okay, enough of the woodworking stuff. I'm thinking a lot about woodworking because I'm starting up the woodworking channel again. I've given it a rest for 10 months while I've been working on the tiny house, but I really got to get back to it. I'm tired of working from extension cords in a half-finished shop. Okay, so this stuff, we're going to have to cut this into the really small stuff, and it's probably not going to matter in the long run. They're going to be connected to the wall. this way with the normal stud edges towards the outside. And if it has a little curve to it like that, that shouldn't matter on the smaller pieces. On the larger pieces, we'll just use the straighter wood. Okay, let's get over there. We'll have to bring the grinder over there if it's not over there already. And we'll bring these over here or over there and write down the as-built dimensions like this right here. It says 29, but I don't know if that's exactly 29 or not. So we'll write down all the as-built dimensions, come back here, start cutting, and hopefully we'll get this stuff done within a couple days. Like I said, it's pushing Christmas. Christmas is tomorrow, and it's already late in the day today, so we'll see what we can get done. Okay, this is what we're starting with. This sole plate and this top header. And even to get a dimension for that, I got to cut this foam out of the way. And we have, these are from the Romex staples. They're all over the place though. I'm going to try to get rid of those. Yeah, you see they're all the way. They're up here, all over. But this right here, that's the screw holding the sub panel in place. So I think if it's not in the way, we have a stud right in here somewhere. If that's not in the way, I'm just going to leave them alone because it'll give a little bit more strength. If it like starts to pull out, these will help. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but if I don't need to cut these, I won't. But I do want to get rid of all of these pokey things all over the place. So got to measure for these two and then measure for that header. And once I get those installed, I'll probably, I want to get around this door right away. That's just a stud on either side of the door all the way up, like a header thing there, and one in the center. Yeah, it seems easy, but this is going to take a while. It's going to take a while just to cut that foam out of there. So let me get started with that. I'll get a couple dimensions, and I think I'll just meet you back over when we start cutting these over in the shop. We'll get those 3 cut, come back, get them installed, and then we'll worry about all the other stuff after that. Okay, I got my dimensions here. Now, this top one, this is pressed up against the collar tie that's on that wall there. So this could actually have a pretty decent warp to it. It would be, 2/3 of the length of this, so it wouldn't have that big warp of the whole thing. And it's going to be pushed up tight against that. Yeah, I think I'll use this for that. And these angles are a little bit more than my saw will do, but they don't have to be the exact angles. They could even be square for that matter. So I think what I'll do is just cut them at 55 degrees, which is the max on that, and then there'll be a little gap. It's not going to be a pretty wall, but like I said, all it is a place to hang drywall and run some electrical wires through and stuff. So, and this is actually a slightly shorter dimension. This was 60 5/8, and these are all 1/8 of an inch shorter, shorter than what they need to be. Once I get these 3 pieces in, then, well, actually, once I get these 3 in, I'll get those 2 in. Then all I need is a height on the rest of them. And I can just write that height down, come over here and get a cut. Hopefully I can get this done today. All right, let's get this cut. Okay, my bad. This only goes up to 50 degrees, not 55, but again, it really doesn't matter. So I have a little more than I need up to this defect here, and most of the defects are on this end besides the major defect of the entire board. So cut it there first, get my length, and then cut it on the other side. The other ones are just a straight cut, but they're short pieces, so I'll probably get one out of here because this is straight all the way to here. Yeah, I might be able to get both of them out of there. We'll see. Okay, let me show you these real quick. This is from the second board, and this is the one with the angle cuts on it. You can see there's still quite the bow on this, but when I put it in, if I put a screw way on this end, and then it'll be easy to push up, then just pop another screw in there, it'll straighten it right out. And on these, this had an even worse curve, but they're cut into smaller pieces. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that or not, but there's only a slight little curve to them now. Can't even see it on that one. And just like that, if I put a screw at an angle down into the meat down there, I'll be able to pull that right out. Okay, we'll go get these installed and get some more dimensions and get our butts in gear. Okay, I got my sill pieces in, got a little bit of a gap at the ends there, and the same with the piece up there. And what I did with this is just clamped it in the middle, threw a screw up, and then I screwed this directly into the studs on the other side, and the screws I used could not make it all the way to the center of the stud, so there's no way I was going to hit electrical or anything. At some point soon, you can see that screw right there, and then there's one right next to the clamp there, and then one right under that gusset up there. There's 3 on each side. That's the only thing holding the roof to this building here. The walls are held by these big lag bolts, and I should have, like 6-inch spacks or something in those 3 places. But on those, I have to double check on the drawings and double check on the old videos, which is where them old videos come in really handy. Check on that and make sure, take some dimensions from here. I can get a dimension from here to the ceiling, and then I can look at the videos and just make sure that I'm not going to be drilling through a wire, because those legs are going to go past the center of the studs in that wall up there. So I have the dimensions for these 2 here. These are the most critical ones. Well, not the most critical, but it's critical that I get the stuff right in the center done as soon as possible, because I have this wire right here goes into that smoke alarm. Now I need another one coming out of it and coming back here, going through the wall, and whatever structure I have here, it's got to go through it and over and through here and all the way up to a box that's going to be up there. And then it'll continue on into the other part that we're going to be building next year. So I'll just be taking the roll that, I think it's that big roll right there, and once we get it to here, we'll run it through there and just hang that roll up and wait for next year. But this is what's holding things up, getting that wire through here and through some blocking that I still have to put in there. So a good deal of stuff to do there, and I need to get this switch through the wall over here and get all the blocking in this wall so I can get this stuff drywalled. The main thing I want to get done is get this wall drywalled, but all of this stuff is kind of in the way of getting that done. So I got them dimensions. Let's go over and get those cut and we'll install those right away. Then I have 3 pieces that go in here. We'll get those in, and then there's just 4 more left.